All right. Hey, everybody. This is Samson Folk, live from the Raptors Republic draft party. Some people have kind of spilled out, but on the whole, I mean, it was super enjoyable. There was a ton of people in here. Yep. We witnessed the Raptors draft pick at 13 overall. Gradey Dick in Toronto. It's here. It's happened. This is the podcast we did last night, wherein we did the big boards, and both Goose and I said that we wanted Gradey as our favorite prospect. Goose, we're going to flip it to you. Gradey, at 13, how you feeling?
I feel amazing. I had him top 5 in the draft. I feel like they got the best player that they could have realistically hoped for at that pick. And I feel like he's like just a perfect fit for what Toronto is trying to do. So very happy right now.
Okay, so we'll give you a chance. I know you said it yesterday, but kind of reiterate the elevator pitch for people who are interested to listen. Why Gradey? Why is that fun? Why is that good?
Oh yeah, because Gradey is exactly what the Raptors have been missing for like the last couple of years. It's just having a shooter and not just like a stand in the corner shooter. He's everywhere on the floor shooter. He's always moving. He's always cutting. He's crashing the glass. He's making these pinpoint passes to other open guys. I feel like he's just going to open up a lot for the Raptors, which have been really stagnant the last couple of years.
Okay, so basically he comes in. He introduces more rewards for motion offense. The Raptors, who famously have been running a lot of actions where teams don't respond. Yeah. They don't respond to what the Raptors are doing because there's no spacing to threaten it. They can play in the gaps against a Pascal drive or a Scotty drive, and it's because typically one of Pascal or Scotty are spacing out. It's not that scary. Here's the numbers for Gradey as a shooter for everybody at home. Overall, he took 206 threes this year. That's a lot in a college season. He shot 40% on them. These are great numbers. He shot 38% on guarded looks. And the big deal about that is that Gradey is a guy who can hit contested looks. He can hit out of motion. He can hit from a bunch of different spots on the floor. And when ESPN or whatever the hell was showing the draft, they're running the clips. You see a lot of these really great interplay, relocation type shots where it's not so much that he's like, okay, we're running this play for Gradey so he can get this look. It's that he's responding to what the creators are doing on the floor, how the defense is reacting to that, and then finding the soft spots as a shooter and as a cutter. That kind of stuff, worth its weight in gold. That's largely why Goose and I had him number 1 on our big boards. And as we talked about last night, the fact that he'll, and a little bit you talked about before, he's going to be able to make plays too. There's a lot of great intermediate reads, depending on how he kind of grows his on-ball game. Who knows how that shapes up. It seems good. Trey, your reaction. You were excited. I mean, you liked it.
I would say this probably...
A little bit closer, yeah.
It's probably my favorite Raptors pick in years. Just the fact that, one, it kind of re-emphasizes that they're more open to new ideas, and in Bobby's interview, they said that they're going to pick a Raptors-type player. So when you're thinking of that type of player, you're thinking of long, athletic, who's a very strong defender, typically like the last 5 or 6 picks that they've taken. Gradey's like the antithesis of that. He's a great shooter. He can relocate. And defensively, he probably fits better in like a team aspect than individual defense. And you wouldn't want him in the nurse type of offense. But now they have a level of shooting where teams are going to have to make decisions, and it's going to open up for guys like Scotty, Pascal, and he fits whether they decide to run back the same team or if they decide to tear it down and build around Scotty. So I think it's an awesome pick.
Thoughts on Gradey?
How many jokes have been made on the podcast already?
None.
None?
None yet. You could be the first.
No, I can't be the first. I feel
You be the first.
awkward here. Look, I saw a newspaper that said big, and then it had his picture, energy. So
I love that.
fill in the blanks there.
I love that.
BDE. I guess that's kind of like, that seems like a positive. Yeah. He was dressed to the nines in this red sequin get-up, whatever that was. It was hard. It was hard.
He's a star. The fact that he wore Raptors red with the sunglasses, knowing he's going to get picked at 13, superstar.
Okay, so here's my question. Do we think that the Raptors were Kobe's lottery pick, but Gradey fell and they reneged on it?
I was like 100% sure that Orlando was going to take him, and I feel like he was mocked to Orlando for like at 11 for like a month or like a bit longer than that. So I don't know if the Raptors also they explored trades up. Like there were reports they looked at 10, they looked at 11. So I feel like Gradey was their guy there that they were looking for. And you know what? They got lucky. He felt right to them.
Yep.
And sorry to Kobe, but that's just how it shakes out sometimes.
Okay, so this is all about it's draft night. It's about getting excited.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to you, Goose. What do you think is the 95th to 100th percentile outcome for Gradey? You said he was top 5 in the draft.
Yeah.
A top 5 pick is something serious.
Yeah.
Is that an all-star to you? Like, what's the outcome
Yeah,
here?
I think he can be an all-star because he's got every type of shot making that you want from a shooter. He's athletic. He has body control. Like he's not the quickest guy, but he's big. He's long. If he can figure out just how to create his shot, maybe not so much as a rookie, but like over time, just growing off attacking closeouts. Maybe he's like Clay and he develops like a bit of a post-up game, or And as far as shooters go, he's probably like the best passer out of like guys like. If he can shoot like Clay, if he can shoot like Michael Porter Jr., if he can shoot like those guys, and he can be a great passer on top of that, I don't know. Like I don't know how you can say that that's not a star player.
Yeah.
Shoot like Clay, tall like Stauskas.
No way, bro.
So, just for everybody who's wanting to know the stats on the dribble jumpers, dribble three-pointers, this guy shot 53.5%. Now, some of this is affected by the fact that he is a guy who, like, it counts as a dribble jumper if you pump, put it down to the side, and then put it up again. Those are still available at the NBA level. Those can still be open shots. So the mix of that as the dribble jumper, that you get a little bit of pop as far as like self-creation, it's not at a big part yet, but you get a little bit of pop there. And that he's a guy who, if he gets run off the line, you aren't forcing him downhill. He can work it sideways and still threaten as a shooter. Teams will give him different types of closeouts as a result of that. He'll have different types of playmaking avenues as a result of that. And he's a great player making those connective reads. So he has all the tools, all the skills currently to make sure that a defense responds to him. And he showed, as Goose mentioned, a really high level of an ability to make reads against moving defenses. The finishing, the size, let's kind of get into that. You mentioned he's athletic.
He's athletic.
He's athletic because he's coordinated.
Yeah.
You can see this through his shooting,
Yep.
through some of his movement, maybe the springboarding he does on TikTok more than anything else. But the thing here is that he doesn't have a lot of burst. How do you guys think he gets, we'll start with you, Trey. How do you guys think he gets around that lack of burst at the NBA level?
I think for Gradey, you kind of saw it in Kansas. He doesn't waste steps. He attacks spaces in ways that, he understands that the defense is all playing over aggressive because I would consider him a generational shooter coming out of the draft.
Generational?
I think he's
Wow.
one of the best shooters I've ever seen coming out of the draft. And he's able to not waste steps, use his length, and finish in the lane or create pull-up creation out of that. So, like, if you're thinking, like, highest percentile, you're considering someone that's going to be able to use his size and then generate rim attempts because of how great a shooter he is. And that's like that Klay Thompson level of type of player. So, with the Raptors, I think this was a perfect layout, like a 10% outcome of how you wanted the draft to come out. I didn't have him on my big board because I didn't think it was possible.
Right.
And they landed him, so I can't ask for more.
Just, and as an aside, kind of being run off the line, he has the avenue as a playmaker. We've seen this before. Lewis is right there. I'm sure the work starts. Oh, he has a mic. When does the work start for the deep dive?
I have
Get in
something
frame, get
totally.
in frame, get in
I have
frame.
something totally unrelated to discuss, and that's the presence of this wonderful guest.
Catherine Niker, everybody. Get in frame. Here
Hi,
we go.
I have no idea what just happened.
Okay, so we're talking about Gradey Dick.
Love it.
We're kind of getting into the weeds. What I want to do with you.
Yes.
You talk about the NBA.
Yeah.
You know basketball.
A bit.
You got excited.
Sure.
How do you feel?
Aesthetically, great.
What does that relate to? Like, you like that You liked how he looked? You like how he makes you look? What's the aesthetic here?
Well, okay, so his outfit was fantastic. I noted immediately that he wore a turtleneck and a blazer, and so did Scotty Barnes. So that's a great sign for us, right? And then Scotty wore white, Gradey wore red, and those are Raptors colors. So that is my homer take right now after 3 glasses of wine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wait. Have you seen any of his TikToks?
No, I'm not on TikTok.
Neither am I, but they lead onto Twitter. He's a TikTok phenomenon, a star.
Is he like a comedian?
He does the goofy dances. He does gymnastics. He does it all.
He does gymnastics.
Yes.
Like in terms of like notoriety, it's probably like Wemby, Gradey Dick.
Really?
Yes, he is very famous on TikTok.
Well, that's good for us.
He has the most followers outside of anybody other than Wemby. That's
Yeah.
it. That's literally the case for this draft.
That was us, everyone.
Yes. It's Fendi
You
Arberhani.
need to lean in a bit more.
There he is, in case anybody's paying attention. Do you have any thoughts on play style? Have you watched the highlight package? Did you like what you saw when they showed it on screen? He hit a 3, maybe?
Oh God, this is a noisy bar. I didn't see anything on screen.
Noise
What I did
affect
note is that
viewing.
What I did note is that he's a guard.
He's
So
a-
how do you feel about us drafting a guard?
He's like a wing.
He's a wing, but
Yeah.
it said guard on the TV.
They lied to you.
They
You're
lied
getting-
to me.
The G
he's a
stands for gaslighting. He's 6'8".
I have so much experience with that.
He's 6'8". But also anybody who was listening,
Hello.
Catherine is a stand-up comedian. She also is a professional screenwriter.
Yes.
Support the screenwriters.
Thank
but
you.
But also, how it comes to mind, the guy's last name is Dick. How many jokes are running through your mind?
Well, there's so many, and just like my life, and I don't know. Like I used to have a Nick Nurse Hottie Highlight of the Week segment on Buckets and Tea. Maybe I need a Dick Pun Highlight of the Week because I just think there's going to be a lot all season long, and we should just celebrate the best of the best, and that's what I'm here for. Like you give the like deep analysis. Right, like
deep dick analysis.
The deep dick analysis. You go deep. You go deep for Dick. I'm more a surface level. I don't even know what that means anymore. I'm just here to have fun. You know what I mean? Samson's a real relationship guy. I'm just here to have fun.
That's me. We're gonna
So between the two of us, I feel like we'll have it covered.
certainly. We're gonna swing it back to Goose.
Yeah. Real basketball
I
analysis.
do want to ask about getting around the defense. We saw the cone drill. He's got slow foot speed, but he is big, and he knows how to move well. How do you feel about it?
I think people hate on the defense a bit too much. Like he does have slow feet, and like he's kind of skinny right now. But I feel like once he like gets like bigger, he'll be able to hang in like isolation. But off the ball, I think he's really good. Like just in terms of being able to, it's the same skill of reading the floor and reading it quickly that he does on offense. He also does the same thing on defense. So he's gonna be in the right spot most of the time. I know rookies can kind of struggle with it at first, so I'd say just give him some time to adjust. And the other thing is that he might have the best hands in the draft. So the Raptors were a team that really focused on forcing turnovers. And if they still want to do that and just letting Gradey just make rotations, hunt the ball, hunt the passing lanes, he could be a plus defender that way.
Okay, so at the rim, on the year, Gradey 57%. He is a great cutter. He has a great sense of when the defense is overplaying to his shooting gravity. He's got a great sense of if it's that interplay for like a dribble handoff. The easy comparison is Duncan Robinson or something like that. You know, the white jokes were made yesterday when he was on the podcast. The white whale was Gradey Dick. Moby Dick, the white whale!
That's so good.
Wow. Wow, okay, that's great. Yes, I'm getting applause off screen. But so 57% at the rim. He's got great hands. He's got pretty good touch. How do you think he adjusts to finishing, cutting, and using his length, that dick length, at the NBA level?
Yeah.
Trey?
I think one, when he gets in the NBA, he has the frame to put on more size. And when you see a lot of his rim attempts,
Keep going.
with a lot of his rim attempts, he's taking off a lot earlier because he doesn't have the strength to finish through contact. So I think with added frame, with added size, he'll be able to finish a lot better. And also with more motion sets with like Darko's offense, he's going to cause a lot of havoc with defense bending off of the ball, where he's going to have much clearer driving lanes because his play finisher isn't going to be Jalen Wilson. It's going to be Pascal Siakam, which causes a lot more problems.
Okay. The patron saint of basketball in our little crew. You said on the podcast we did, Curly, that you got into TikTok for Gradey Dick.
Yes.
He's now a Toronto Raptor.
We got Dick in Toronto, man. What can I say?
Do you have any analysis for us at this point in time?
You know what? It was a deep draft, and there was an opportunity to not mess this up. And the Raptors took the best player available, and it just so happens that he's going to fit right in with what we need. Movement shooting. We got a coach that believes in movement offense, and he's just going to fit right in. Like, he has the length. He doesn't have the athleticism, but he has the length, he has the size, and he's going to free up almost anybody on this squad. And more importantly, I think he's a perfect fit for Scotty, and I think that's what we're going to see going forward, is really unlock Scotty's potential.
Hell yeah. That seems to be the kind of the consensus as far as a lot of people, some people have left, but some of the people that have pulled me aside, they expressed that they thought that this pick was the one that managed to find both avenues. Like, Gradey is a guy who can help the Raptors. You mentioned it as well. Grady's a guy who can help the Raptors team now. He's a guy that can pair well with Scotty into the future. I think that I didn't expect him to be available at 13.
Yeah.
This is quite a shock. We started getting very excited when we realized that it was Gradey and Kobe were both available. So much so that we're like, can they get a second pick? What can we do about that? I'm curious. We're going to open it up now. Decisions that weren't made tonight. How do you feel about draft night? We're not done. But on the whole, through the first 25 picks or so, what the Raptors did, do you think like they got surplus value for Gradey, and that makes staying the course a little more tenable? I'm not sure.
No. No. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah.
I do think, like, if they run it back, I do think like they're a playoff caliber team.
Yeah.
They've proved that in the second half of the season. The play-in is obviously like a one-game decider, and no one could have predicted a child screaming and making them miss free throws. But Grady's going to be able to play a lot of minutes if he hits shots, and they have the defense to insulate him as a rookie, and it makes things a lot easier when you think of like when Caitlin was on. How do you make Scotty, Pascal, and Jakob
OG work.
Yeah,
OG,
you have a generational shooter on the other side of the wing.
Okay, wait. Are we back into Operation 6, like Vision 6?
No. I would have been happy if they took a 5'11" player. He can really shoot, and he fits everything that Darko wanted on the team. So I can't really complain like if they run it back with more shooting, because at the very least you're gonna have functional offense, and you're gonna see how viable that front court pairing is, because you've had with OG and Gradey eventually on your wing, like you've maximized like your shooting off of those three players.
I also think this does allow them, truthfully, they were like, hey, we need like-sized guys because of defense. Because basically, if Scotty can't hang at the point of attack, which for a lot of initiators he can't,
Yep.
the big deal is that Scotty can use his length to buffer, and then that buffer connects with another 6'8", 6'9" guy who's pinching in the gaps, and that means that guy can not only stonewall a drive, but if they need to peel switch, sure. But if they're just doing straight up, they both recover to their original men, that works.
Yep.
Grady's the first guy. Scotty, Delano Banton. Johnson, David Johnson. Like,
Who is he?
he's the first guy who actually brings a jump shot into it.
Yes.
And it's not only just a jump shot, it's one of the best jumpers we've seen in the past 3-4 years of the draft. It's a pretty big deal. The people here were big fans of the pick for a reason. And S, I'm going to let you take over hosting for like 4 minutes. I got to talk to Lewis, and I'm going to go see if I can wrangle fans to talk to us about Gradey. How's that sound?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Hello,
Let's go.
everybody. Welcome to the Makeshift Raptors Republic podcast, I guess. Okay, look, quick question. I was curious just based on your conversation. Between, I don't know, Delano Banton to Scotty Barnes in terms of rookie impact,
Yes.
what kind of initial impact can Gradey have year one? I don't know if you guys talked about it, by the way, so I'm just...
No. For me, I think I would be shocked if he didn't make an all-rookie team.
Okay.
Just because he's going to be able to play with a guy like Pascal who bends the defense and causes a lot of havoc. Even Scotty in the similar sense where he gets the ball at the mid-post. He's going to get a lot of open looks, and he's the type of shooter where if you leave him open, he's going to hit a large percentage of those. So he's going to have impact, and he's going to be able to stay on the floor defensively with if they run it back with the lineups that they're able to bring out with like Scotty, OG, Pascal, and Jakob.
Goose?
Wemby better watch out, man. The rookie of the year hasn't been decided yet. We'll see.
If you guys were to, I guess, rank, is that the man, the myth, the legend?
We have a celebrity.
This is Pascal propaganda.
Oh, this is Pascal Prop.
The legend.
Well.
I have a real name too, but
Yeah. What's the real
my
name?
real name's Kashtyn. Kashtyn, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You're tall. You play basketball?
I do, yeah. My rec league, 2-3 nights a week, yeah.
Wait. How tall are you?
Like 6'3", 6'4".
6'3"? Okay.
He's like Trace.
Yeah. Oh, we got the Twin Towers here going on.
I see you guys have pickup runs.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to run, I'm trying to run.
Okay. We need the Gradey Dick take.
So the take is Vision 6'9" is back.
That we were just talking about that.
Vision 6'9"
We were
is
joking.
back. Well, I'm not joking. We're up. Run it back is up. This is huge, like movement shooting. This is great.
Okay, so do you think this salvages? Because we had that conversation yesterday where they're like, do you think number 13 is important for running it back? And I said they shouldn't be contingent on it.
Yeah.
How do you think it makes it more tenable?
This pick does, I think. Because I think it elevates your floor because you just have a good shooter, and he's good. But he has upside too. Like, you're not just making the pick for tomorrow, you're making it for 5 years down the line where, Gradey, I think,
Take care, brother.
if he's a starter and it's just Scotty and Gradey together 5 years down the road, like, you're pretty happy with that, I think.
What's
So it's good.
how much Gradey have you watched?
I'd put myself at like a 4 out of 10.
If you've seen the highlights.
I've listened to everything you guys have said. You've convinced me about Bilal, so I was like I was crestfallen.
We were making jokes that Bilal owes him money because we affected the draft
You
stock.
gotta pay.
Okay, so you've done probably the highlight search.
Yeah,
You've
a
listened to
little
our stuff. If you could, this is the point of having the live podcast, is
Yeah.
getting different opinions.
Sure.
What does your brain think of Gradey Dick currently?
Awesome shooter. I think it's just a team guy. I didn't know this about him until today. A bit of a character. I
Sure.
like that. I like having a character on the team, and I think he's just a winner. I think he's going to help us win. That's cool. I like that.
So Catherine mentioned earlier that Scotty wore white
Yeah.
and a turtleneck. Gradey wore red and a turtleneck. Are you into synergy of that kind at all? Does that mean something to you?
It does when people point it out. I like that. Those two seem to have a connection. Same agency. They've been FaceTiming. I like that. If Scotty's happy, I'm happy.
Hell yeah.
That's good. I want positivity. I want happiness. I want everyone to feel good.
You want a good vibes team.
I want a good vibes team. I want us to win. I want to feel good about it. I
Okay.
want to feel good about the Raptors.
We're gonna stay with this.
Okay.
What do you want to happen in free agency?
Oh gosh, this is a contentious topic. Realistically, just to like. Oh, my bad. Can you hear me? Yeah. I don't do this for a living. What do I want them to do?
Yes.
Probably get Fred back rather than losing him for nothing. That'd be nice. And just see what you have come training camp. Like, we have some good players. Let's see how they fit together with a new coach, and yeah, go from there.
Okay, so it sounds like if the rotation, everybody comes back.
Yeah.
Who's on the bench?
Okay, I've got this.
Yes.
So, but realistically, to duck under the tax, you're probably losing like a Boucher, probably. And if you can get like a DeLon Wright in that would be very nice. So I'm looking like Fred, DeLon, probably like an OG Grady. Then we're looking Scotty, Otto, Pascal,
Precious.
Precious, of course, and Jakob, Christian. 10-man rotation.
What about Gary?
Oh shoot, I just forgot Gary. Oh shoot. Otto's not going to play. So Grady will be a 3, Gary's a 2, and Otto's on the bench. Injury reserve.
I think that works.
It does.
Like, I know
Yeah.
a lot of the listeners don't want to run it back, but
Run it back, baby.
I think that the reason why Otto was so successful in Golden State was that there were these contingency plans based on like, okay, if Otto isn't feeling that well, there's another guy who steps in immediately. The fact that like Gary, Grady, OG is a nice little buffer. Lewis, I want you to come talk for a moment. Yes, no, just shortly. When does the deep dive begin? On Grady.
Yeah. First, I got to do pick number 57 for my real employer.
Oh yeah.
And then
he's the Bucks writer, by the way.
Yeah. So I'll find out whoever's pick 57. And I'll write about them, and then I'll go look at off-ball movement, and I'll write about how dope Scotty Barnes is.
Scotty Barnes.
Because Gradey Dick and Scotty Barnes are going to be like Sabonis and Kevin Huerter.
Hell yeah. You heard it here first. Kevin Huerter is the Gradey Dick comp. Very creative to find another white guy.
I saw Klay Thompson on Twitter. I'm running with that.
We heard Klay Thompson here. Jamar, I'm going to let you take over. You want to match? You want to match this volume, or actually you want to have that mic? I'll quarterback this thing. It's a rotating cast. Jamar, you made it about 14 seconds before the pick came in. When Grady was selected, is it elation? Is it euphoria? How are you feeling?
Okay, so
Right here, right there, real close. About this volume.
okay, so I'm not the biggest in terms of like knowledge in terms of draft prospects.
That doesn't matter, bro.
I
This
was
is feelings.
I was vibing with everybody else. Everybody else was happy. I know the Raptors needed shooting, so therefore I was happy with everybody else. I know like some wanted Kobe as well. That was pretty popular, but no, I'm happy with the pick.
Have you seen any Gradey Dick highlights or anything of the sort?
A little bit, just very, very minimal, very minimal.
Thoughts?
He can shoot.
A basketball player?
Yeah. Bare minimum, I would hope, but yeah. He can shoot. He has a little bit of versatility, so I don't know how the Raptors are going to deploy that, but what did you think about him?
I love Gradey Dick. Many people who listen to these podcasts know that I was like, well, Goose and I did it yesterday. He was number 1 on our big boards for the Raptors.
Okay.
He was my favorite pick.
Why was he number 1?
So we've talked about this somewhat for the audience, but I'll tell you what, he's a great shooter. Like, we were running through the numbers. He's elite. He's one of the best shooters that come out of the draft over the past 4 or 5 years. He's got size, which makes defending a lot easier, especially in the Raptors scheme, where they're looking to kind of eat up space and let Jakob patrol the paint. The new scheme, ever since Jakob came there, Grady wouldn't have been a great fit prior to that. He's a safer defender. He's going to defend against the worst outcomes defensively. He's not going to give you the high like turnover rates or stuff like that, but he's going to fill up space. He's going to be responsible on that end, and that can grow with getting comfortable with the defenders around them.
So you just taught me something, because I didn't even know he was a capable defender.
I just have a question. Do you think the size is going to be an issue for him guarding the conventional NBA 3 or maybe even 4 or whatever? Like, he's 6'8", but he's still a little, he has to add a little bit of weight to him. Do you think that's going to be an issue?
The good news for Grady is that he didn't get drafted by a team that wasn't the Raptors, because there's a few wings who post up in the NBA, and they're all on the Raptors. So he's not going to have to defend too many of those actions. As far as like foot speed, screen navigation, there's a lot of wings who don't shoot that well and who aren't going to be featured in a lot of those actions. He'll be able to shoot the gap on a lot of those. And as far as like stab step, walk and trail, that might not be his strong suit. But I think that the team as a whole is going to have enough size on the floor to cover for that in a lot of their conventional setups defensively. And I also think that he makes great reads as a defender. So when he's playing in space off ball, he's going to give you a lot. I don't know if he's going to be targeted year one or like for the rest of his career. Maybe early on you try and put him in a bunch of pick and rolls. I don't know. But if you're another team and you're transitioning your offense to just pick and rolls from a wing ball handler, typically that doesn't work that well. So he might be like you know how some teams, they put like a guy, the Heat do it, you put Duncan Robinson on the floor, and suddenly teams get really excited about, targeting him and they waste too much time. Maybe Dick is like the next guy like that. Like you spend too much time trying to be like, get the white boy, We'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. But I feel the defense isn't a standout, but I feel okay about him. Okay.
I'm going to sub out, but I think you broke this news, by the way. You did the 2 workouts for Kobe and Gradey. I think you broke it. Newsbreaker Samson. Anyways,
Trey is calling. Okay.
We call all Samson rumors folk tales.
Wait,
Brother.
I got a question for everybody.
Okay, yeah.
Because maybe this was already covered before I got here.
Yeah.
But rate his outfit out of 10. And do you think he had any idea that he was going to go to the Raptors already rocking the red?
I will just say this. I think he knew from the get-go. It was going to be red. It was all glitter. Why do you think he did the turtleneck thing like Catherine mentioned earlier? It was written. He knew. He knew.
I don't think he knew. I think he liked his outfit, and he happened to be drafted by the Raptors.
13 is a stretch. Like, there's so many upsets that could have. He got picked way earlier. I don't think he knew.
I did like it, though. Did you like it?
No.
No.
Wow. I needed a rate. I didn't get a rating for that.
Oh, I loved it. If I had that level, 10. If I had that level of confidence to wear that type of outfit,
I've seen you on CEBL sidelines doing reporting. You look pretty slick.
If I could ever wear that on the sidelines, count me in.
Hey, much respect to him for having the confidence to rock a glitter blazer, but just because you have the confidence doesn't mean it looks good.
Okay. So, Gradey, he gets drafted. How are you feeling? The immediate, reaction.
So I'm not going to front and act like I have a ton of draft knowledge like some of the other guys. So I only have very, very minimal stuff. And then Gradey Dick, I'd heard the name a few times. From what I heard, I expected him to go earlier. So I'm surprised he fell to the Raptors. From what I've been reading up since he's been drafted, it looks like he has a lot of high basketball processing speed, which I think is really good. Just having the smarts and being able to process moments at a high level, at a high speed, because basketball is a game of inches, and literally being half a second late with a read or half a second early with a read can be the difference between making a basket and a turnover. So I think that's really important. Looks like he hustles, and everyone wants a dog on their team. So love to see that. We'll see about the shooting, because everyone's a shooter, and then when you get to the NBA, it's a different story sometimes. But if he is a shooter and it holds up, I think that does a lot for the starting 5. Because my thing was, one, they have to keep Jakob because they re-signed him, right? Well, they didn't re-sign him.
You gave a first-round pick for him.
First-round pick for him. So you want to re-sign him. But even if you re-sign him, if you keep Scotty, Pascal, and Jakob, those are non-shooters, right? The court is really strong, and you need, for Pascal, if you want to keep him, for him to be his best self, you need the floor to be stretched.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
He needs space to operate, to do his slashing, to go to work, and you can't really do that if Jakob is clogging up the paint and Scotty's clogging up the paint, because Scotty's best work is also closer to the paint. So if Gradey Dick is for real, that automatically stretches it out, and that does a lot more for the team, and lets Pascal kind of do his thing. So, again, in theory, from what I've seen, I like what he adds to the team. Obviously, theory and actuality are two different things, but...
Are you team run it back?
Absolutely not, but...
Tell us why.
Okay, the way I see it is like this.
A little closer.
Okay, the way I see it is like this. You had, at the time, 2 unrestricted free agents, right? Gary Trent Gary Trent was not happy. There was a good chance he was opting out. Like, we weren't expecting his play the way it ended up at the end. And then Fred VanVleet has always made it clear that he's always about the money, whoever's paying him the most. And we have a free agency class where it's very light on guards. So just the fact that he's one of few guards that are available in free agency gives him leverage. And then you have teams with a lot of cap space that are willing to spend on him because they want him, like the Rockets or the Magic. So, like, already on that, unless you pay Fred egregiously, in my opinion, he's going to walk. The team was mediocre throughout the whole season, right? And people are arguing, well, they didn't have a center, so they didn't get the opportunities to shine. Okay, Masai gave them a center, which, again, if you really believe in the team and you think that they're missing it's on you that they're missing a piece, need to compete, then you don't make that trade at the deadline. You make that trade way before, right?
Given the daps, everybody's dapping up before we get out of here. Oh, me too. Hey, brother. Thank you for hosting for 4 minutes.
Dick is in Toronto.
Hell yeah.
By the
Hell
way,
yeah.
by the way, Az showed me a video already of Gradey saying something about Drake, where basically he's really excited to see Drake already, so he's already getting acclimated.
Okay. He's a Drake fan. I'll ask you, are you team run it back?
I've gone back and forth on this so much where I was, and I feel like I still am in some ways, team run it back, because I feel like that's the direction they're going anyway. Like, I didn't have a strong direction to blow it up. The most I was team blow it up was, I think it was the game in Minnesota where they like imploded and like a double-digit lead, and it's like, okay, this is not going to work. And I was at that point where I kind of wanted them to go lower and not make the playoffs and see how high a pick they can get in the draft. But then they obviously went the opposite way with getting Jakob, because obviously they didn't have a center for like 60% of the season. And now it's just like, it feels like even if they want to blow it up, it's like they don't own their own pick. So it's like, how could you even be?
That's a sunk cost, though. Like, you lost the pick.
The sunk cost fallacy,
right?
yes.
Like, don't continue to make bad choices just because you lost one pick.
Okay, yeah, and that's fair, but it's just I don't even. The reason why I can't even be like, no, blow it up is because the moves they're making is the total opposite of that.
Oh no, for sure. Like,
so it's just like I don't even have the energy to be like, no, you're doing it wrong, because it's just like, they're already going this way already, so whatever.
I was team blow it up, but like I think like 2 or 3 days before, I just came to the realization, or not realization, but acceptance. I was like, they're not blowing it up.
Yeah.
They've been saying they're trying to run it back.
So yeah,
They
so
believe
why
in
am I
all these
wasting this
players.
energy?
It's happening. I don't agree. I feel like people will show you who they are. And the Raptors showed that they are a mediocre team. At best, right? Like, let's keep it honest.
At best? Mediocre at best?
At best. At best. Like, I hate to say it, but we saw the back-to-back
So
games
what were
versus
they
Orlando.
what are they at best to you? Like, in
You
terms
said
of
mediocre.
Like, I know, but like no. Sorry, let me rephrase. Like, last season when they went on that hot streak and they made the playoffs as a 5 seed, was that their best? Can they do any better than that?
Two seasons ago.
No, well, yeah, I guess you can call it 2 seasons ago. Not the season that just passed.
Yeah, the season
2022.
before. I think with that,
Is that like their ceiling?
I think that was more of an anomaly than anything, because, or not an anomaly, it's like one of those things where it's just like, all right, like, it was it's Scotty. Scotty was a way better player than anybody expected, so that's the first year that you got to deal with him, right? And he's playing at a higher level than most teams are expecting. You have Nick Nurse's system, which was effective for shorter bursts, right? Like, his system is a frenzied defense. Players are always moving, contesting everything really hard, and that's great when your players are fresh. But if you're doing that for 2 years straight and you don't have enough bench depth, like, it's going to expose itself.
And it gets figured out,
Right?
and guys get tired.
And it gets figured out, right? So it's just like, we had a good year that year, but the foundation of that success was not sustainable. And at the time, we might not have been thinking this is not sustainable, but this year showed to me that the foundation of that team and that offense and defense was just not sustainable. So, and again, it's just like you had the back-to-back losses versus the Magic. You had the loss with the Timberwolves.
That was bad.
Oh,
the
December, man.
The Magic losses really turned off a lot of
December
people.
was
You said
crazy.
The Timberwolves one was
That's the one that broke me.
You ready to play?
That broke me.
When I saw the back-to-back, when I saw the first loss against the Magic, I'm like, that's nasty. How you gonna let that happen to you? That's crazy. But whatever, get a run back real quick in a couple nights. Nope, lost after that. Plant the TNT. Get this out of here.
That was Trey. When we were doing the podcast, that was the first time that season that he said they took his smile away.
Bro, it broke me. I will say, when Fultz came back, Orlando was above 500. It wasn't that bad.
Fultz is who we should have been going after.
I like Fultz too.
Fultz is who we should
You see, but you can't get those type of players if you don't have shooting.
You can't, because Fultz is cooking, and the Magic's like, hey, what are we giving him up for?
Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, again, for me, the Raptors have showed who they are, and unfortunately, it's like we have good players, but good players do not always make a great team.
Would you be happy to be wrong?
I would love to be wrong.
Yeah.
I would love to be getting a 7-course meal full of crow.
Yeah. I think, like, if you're going to look on the optimistic side, like, I think next year they could have a season like the Knicks did, where, like, Pascal hits with more spacing a higher plane, probably closer to, like, the first 30 games that you saw, and then they get a good matchup in the first round and they win a round.
I think that they can be. The Knicks is a good comp. This is a team, like, they won't have a signing like Jalen Brunson that revitalizes a piece of their offense, but there's a lot of talent on the roster, not to contend or anything like that, but there's talent, and some people won't like these low aspirations, but like a 5th, 6th seed is it's attainable for the talent on the roster. Now, do you pay luxury tax for a 5th or 6th seed?
MLS is paying no luxury tax.
Most teams don't, and Gary forced their hand already on 18 million of it. We'll see what happens. Maybe they kick the can down the road. Hey man, maybe they wait to see if they start off the season hot, and then maybe it's that Rudy trade in December. It's not even a trade deadline trade.
The thing is, there's only so much road you can kick it down until it becomes a cliff.
Okay, but wait a minute. I got a question. I got a question for you though.
You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, because
you guys remember that video where it's like the two guys fishing in a boat, and the one guy's saying like, "I'm gonna be a diamond someday," and he's like, "It don't go down. It don't go down." He's like, "It do go down."
Well, hold on, because I'm still on the mediocre at best part, which in a lot of ways. No. I'm not acting like I'm a fan. In a lot of ways, I agree. But I just have a question. The switch from Nurse to Darko, does that the little that because we don't know that much, but the little that we do know about Darko, do you think that raises the ceiling a little bit? Just the little that we do know philosophy-wise.
Like, again, I'm not going to front and act like I know the nuances of coaching schemes. But from what I see it, the Raptors' primary issues is one, they, at the time, no real rim protector center, which they addressed.
Yep.
2, lack of spacing for shooting.
Which they made worse.
Which they made worse by getting
Maybe got a little bit better with Gradey, but on the whole, still probably a negative.
Right?
Yeah.
So the spacing was, so the center, the spacing, and the lack of guard depth. The lack of guard depth and the lack of just depth in general. So you can combine those two into one or keep it separate however you want. So it's like they got the rim protector, but by getting the rim protector in Jakob, they made the spacing even worse, right? So it's like you can change the coach and change the schemes all you want. Like, the paint is still crowded.
Yeah, the players
There's
are the
not
players.
enough space for Siakam to do his thing, which is slashing, working great off ball, breaking his man down and have a one-on-one. It's just like, oh, Siakam's doing his thing. We can just grab the paint, and his most effective area will block that off.
The roster's
and we can afford to send doubles at him because we know that most of the team can't shoot, right? Then on top of that, again, like guard depth, we don't really have. We have no guard depth aside from Fred VanVleet, right? He got the mashed potato knees now because of what Fred did. I mean, not Fred, because of what Nick Nurse did.
Mashed potato knees. No, I love this. You're going for the jugular.
Okay, keep cooking. Keep cooking.
Like that. Nurse cooked this man. He cooked him. Right? Like now you're telling me, and this is not Fred's fault.
Wait. Are you team re-sign Fred, or do you want?
Doesn't sound like it.
Or do you want mashed potatoes
mashed
elsewhere?
Potato knees?
This is how Fred, at the right price, you keep him. right? But again, Fred has leverage in this market, and I don't think if I'm the front office, and obviously there's a reason why I'm here in the front office where they're at, but if I'm the front office, I don't think you give Fred over $30 million for what? He's looking for probably 4 years, right?
We did a mock negotiation. We settled on 2 years, 54. Would you do that?
I don't think Fred does that.
27 per.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And then you retain the asset. That's mostly.
Yep, I would do that, and if it doesn't work out, you can trade
But
it.
would Fred do that?
Fred wouldn't do that. Fred is all about.
Yeah,
Fred
I don't
is
think
a
Fred would
gangster.
do that.
So like,
Fred is a gangster. He said, you seen Goodfellas? F you, pay me. That is Fred. F you. No, you were talking about getting no C's, whatever. F you, pay me.
Yeah.
And I respect it.
yeah.
Fred is, he not lying to you saying, you know, I love the team. I'm trying to come back, make it work no matter what. I'll take it. No, I say none of that. He said, F you, pay me. All the points and stuff is great.
There's no guesswork with Fred. You are right about
I
that.
respect all that. He's about his money. But you got to keep it honest. Like, yo, do you want to pay an undersized shooting guard, like who's playing a point guard, 30+ million a year?
Yeah, he's a point guard.
Okay, but there is levels to point guard.
Okay, say if Houston comes to him. Say if Houston comes to him, because there's going to be some sort of bidding war. He's only really starting caliber guard on the market in free agency.
Yeah, exactly.
4 years, $120 million.
What's it, 30 million?
That's
a year,
$30
right?
million across 4 years.
You're Houston?
Oh, man.
Good luck in your future endeavors, man. I ain't matching that. Man. I'm telling you, Nurse cooked this man. Those legs are certified.
I need
linguine.
opinions on Gradey Dick.
If you give
Yo,
him
In your
4
mind.
years,
when
In
I
your mind,
heard
where
he's
do you
like a
think he
great
goes?
shooter, we finally addressed our shooting need. And with the whole like TikToks as well, you saw he already has a TikTok up after he just got drafted. Compare him with the Scotty Barnes vibes, he'll be doing high knees every time there's a slam dunk in a home game. It's gonna be the best next season ever. We're gonna win the title. Go Raptors, go! Let's go! Let's go!
The vibes are back. The vibes are back.
now, I'm cracking.
We just went on a high and now we're coming back down. Go ahead.
You know what?
Keep cooking.
I'm cracking all these jokes, but again, I would love nothing more than Fred, wherever he goes, whether it be Toronto, Orlando, Rockets, to prove me wrong and to be cooked and say it was an off year. I'm back, baby. Put the sunglasses on, start dropping threes, and making me forget. Damn, I can't believe I was talking all that ish about Fred VanVleet, and now he's gone and making us
Do the
I would
Sam
love for
Cassell
that.
dance again.
I would love that. But like the way I see it, it's like Nurse ran him into the ground, right? He's been undersized in my opinion.
What did you think? Like he had a strong finish to the year. Would you accept that?
I mean, what do we consider strong?
The Raptors. Now, this isn't saying the Raptors are good. This isn't saying that Fred was an all-star again. But I think he was giving you, once Jakob was there as a pick and roll partner, above average point guard play, point guard, not shooting guard, and slightly sub all-star impact. I don't know if you're into analytics or anything like that, but I think he was around there. He trended up towards the end of the year. Does that mean something to you as far as mashed potatoes, linguine cooked, or anything like that?
I think he definitely played better in the later half of the year than the first half, like absolutely for sure. But I mean, like mentally, like, but at that point, how much is the team is already cooked, right? It's a wrap for the record, right? So like at that point, like yeah, you're playing better, but.
No, I think you look at it when a team's strategy is that we're going to switch Nikola Vucevic onto your sub all-star player, and it works out, then you kind of have your decisions from there.
And again, so you asked me, how do I feel about Fred VanVleet's play in the second half after getting Jakob, right? I raised the question for you. Was his level of play good enough, strong enough that you would pay him $30 million for 4 years or over $30 million?
I think that the market is way higher than people think. So those numbers sound crazy, but I still think 30 is rich. too rich, especially 4 years, I would do 260.
What about 3?
3,
No.
especially since like 260, basically what happens is if Fred is really good, then you have him on a decent term. You get to try again, but especially with smaller guards later into like getting into the 30s, the shorter the deal, the more team friendly typically.
Right.
You get to kind of ride that line if you want, if the shorter deal. As far as Fred, if it doesn't work out, if he has injury problems going forward, then he immediately transitions into a player, even with injury concerns, who's still valued by other teams because he shoots the ball. Even when he's injured, he's still a better defender than a lot of the other guards in the NBA. This doesn't mean he's the best or anything, but he is still, like, he's coming from an elite defender down to, for some stretches, good, and other stretches below average. He's still a guy who I don't think it would ever be a salary dump. If you keep it short, then it's like 1 year, maybe somebody's trading for 1.5, maybe somebody's trading for 1 year as a topper, if it's a contender, something like that. I think that's manageable. I think if you go like 3 years or 4 years, there's a roadmap to where it gets pretty hairy, pretty hard to get off of that contract. And I think it's more likely that happens than he performs extremely well, and you're like, wow, I can't believe we have $30 million year over year with an ascending cap. I don't think that's super realistic, so that's where I sit.
The way I see it is like this. If you give Fred a 4-year contract at 30 to 35 million, and you find out that wear and tear, injuries, and just general, getting older has affected him enough that like he's not even close to that value player, and you still have him for 4 years, when you have Gradey Dick and Scotty Barnes popping off, that 30 million is going to be like a sieve. And I feel like as a front office organization, I don't think it's worth that risk. Now, obviously, they have a level of information and insight into the players that far beyond what we have. So if they think that like he'll be straight in that time, then I can see the argument for giving out a contract. But like we've seen in the NBA, when players drop, it's quick. Right, 1 year, it was all good, baby. And after that, done. Out of nowhere.
John Salmons played 21 games after he left the Raptors, and the Raptors got a 16th overall pick and the 6th man of the year for him. And even he, after he missed those free throws against Oklahoma City, man, even he pulled only 21 games. Guys leave the league fast. That's true. I don't want to. We've been talking about Fred for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
We hate too much. We gotta chill. But I will say one thing, and this doesn't apply to just Fred, but other players as well. The thing that I think it was Bill Belichick who said it. It's always better to trade a player 1 year too early than a year too late.
This guy's a Patriots fan. Are you a Patriots fan?
No.
Okay. I'm glad it's not front runners. Everybody here.
I am not a Patriots fan, but you have to respect the W's. You got to respect greatness. I was a Tom Brady hater from when I started. Like my first big football game was watching the Seahawks, and I watched with my cousin. They were more big football guys. I didn't know anything about football, but my first Super Bowl game was the Seahawks crushing the Broncos. I was a fan. Watched the next Super Bowl. Amazing game. But they got robbed because of their own incompetence.
1 yard line.
1 yard line.
Run the ball.
1 yard line to a running back who literally moves. The group of people will be on him and they'll force it another yard.
Nah, man, let's throw it.
That's great. If you lose, if you have 4 downs with Marshawn Lynch and you cannot get 1 yard with Marshawn in 4 tries, you stick your hand out and you say good games. But the fact that you don't even let it get to that point is wild. But anyway, so the Patriots won, and I was a Tom Brady hater because I really wanted the Seahawks to win, especially after that crazy catch that bounced off the guy's foot. So after that, I was hating on Brady forever. And I had to keep watching Brady win and win and win while I'm stewing in my hate for no good reason with no payoff. Can you imagine as a prime Brady hater having to watch this man come back from 25-3?
28-3.
28-3. Right? 28-3, brother. The jokes were lined up, okay?
At least you weren't a Falcons fan.
Halftime, I had the oh, I was having the time of my life at halftime. And then watch this man come back from 28-3. He did it again. The cool Jesse Pinkman, he can't keep getting away with it.
So wait a minute.
Wait.
Wait. When he went to the Bucks,
Yeah.
were you still hating Brady? He's not on the Patriots anymore.
I was still, hey, it's not team hating, it's player hating, okay? So I was still hating, but after he won with the Bucks, you know what? I turned in my hater badge. I'm resigning. I had a good run. Been like a good 7 years, but
Is
I'm
that
sorry.
a good run? I mean, like it wasn't prosperous.
It was not prosperous. It was not a prosperous run. It was a good run, but not a prosperous. Brady, you got it. You are a winner. No matter how much hate I try to bring with me, you was winning regardless. You got it, man. You got it.
Okay. Any last thoughts on Gradey Dick before we get out of here?
What a segue.
The jokes on his name
Oh boy.
are gonna be wild.
They already are.
They already are. You know what I'm saying? Once we signed him or picked him, everyone in the room was like, we love Dick. I had to throw a couple Ayo in there because it was getting a little wild.
All right. Okay. That's like a long podcast. As far as the reaction, Jamar, do you have any thoughts on Gradey before we get out of here?
No, I mean, I feel like what's already said has been said, so.
What's already been said has been said. Trey, any thoughts before we get out of here?
I'm just really happy considering the pick that they made. It's a sign that they're implementing new ideas. They're going to be implementing a new system. And I feel like the players that we draft, well, we don't have a pick next year, but in the future, say 2025, are going to resemble this type of player. So I'm going to call him Dickovic for the next 12 months.
Hell yeah.
I'm looking forward to the development.
Me too, man. I'm excited to see how he gels with the existing roster, however that roster looks. For the listeners, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, Nick is a great scheme. He's a great coach if you're trying to get over the hump for contending. But I think we've all seen that he's not a development coach, doesn't have the patience for it. And I think the Raptors did realize that, like, we have to take that next step of developing, getting the next, like, bench mob, so to speak. So, like, and again, like, from what the little research that I've seen, Gradey Dick has, you know, the processing speed, the hustle, and, like, you gotta love that in your rookies.
I totally forgot about Summer League. I'm looking forward to that because I'm assuming he would play in Summer League, right?
Are you going to Summer League?
No,
he'll be at Summer League.
One day I'll get to go to Vegas to go to Summer League, but I'm looking forward to seeing him play there.
He'll be there. Wemby is playing in Summer League.
Yeah,
If Gradey Dick doesn't, that's a bad thing.
Wemby's a hooper. I was not expecting him to play in Summer League.
To everybody who listened, stay tuned for deep dives on the website on Gradey Dick's game. I'll be talking to a few scouts about his game, and then his performances at Summer League. Myself and Trey will be there to cover it. Trey, watching the games, I'll get to talk to a few more people, and we'll try and coalesce. Are you excited for that?
Hell excited.
Hell yeah. Okay, this feels like a podcast, brother. You're a star. We're going to get out of here, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a blast.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, all right. We'll see you guys.